evening, friends. In my previous lecture, I held a discussion on police reforms, how various governments, central state governments, over a period of time, how the governments have taken initiatives in appointing various commissions and committees to suggest reforms in police administration to improve the equation of relationship between police and public and to make police a more efficient, more effective and professional, citizen-friendly police force in keeping with the requirements of a modern democratic welfare state. So we discussed various committees and commissions. Although we have large number of committees and commissions, but we focused mainly on some important committees which gave important recommendations to improve the structural and behavioral profile of police administration, to improve its professional competence, its overall pattern of response, orientation, to improve professionalism, and to make use of modern tools, techniques, and technology to improve the performance of police administration, to ensure that police is more accountable and more citizen friendly. So we discussed various recommendations made by such committees, be it Ribeiro Committee or National Police Commission or Padmana Bhaiya Committee, Malimat Committee or the Model Police Act we have discussed. We also discussed how Supreme Court in its landmark judgment in 2006 in response to a public interest litigation which was filed by one Mr. Prakash Singh, ex-DGP. So in the landmark judgment 2006, Supreme Court also issued 7 directives to central government and state governments to be followed on the path of police reforms. But unfortunately, most of such the reports submitted by committees and commissions, a good number of them, they have kept on gathering dust. I don't mean to say nothing has happened, but no concrete or substantive changes have been brought by the governments in the way and manner police functions. So there has been some changes here and there, but we are still looking for a more substantive, concrete, multi-dimensional changes in the police administration to make it suitable for a modern democratic welfare state. We are still carrying the colonial legacy of the past during the British period. And that makes police reforms still much important and debatable subject for all of us. It's very important, and we have discussed so many times in my previous lectures. We have discussed how law and order, internal security, all such things are directly related to development. So without security, without peace and harmony, we cannot think of growth and development of any society. And when you think of internal security, law and order, significance of police administration can hardly be overemphasized. So today we are going to discuss, having discussed various recommendations made by the committees, today we are going to discuss the problems. What have been the most important inhibitive factors? What has created problems for implementation of police reforms? What are those factors? Why is it that we have not been able to implement those recommendations? So we are going to discuss challenges and the problems being faced by us. So implementation of police reforms is a long-standing issue. It's very important, which has to be done. Everybody knows, and there's no disagreement about it. Even Supreme Court had expressed its intent in 2006 judgment in Prakash Singh versus Union of India. And on the paper or in general in front of public, you will find the political leadership, central political leadership, state political leadership. Nobody can say that police reforms is not required. Police reforms is a necessity. Everybody knows. Then, despite this acknowledgement, what happens? Why is it that nothing concrete and substantive has taken place? So what are those inhibitive factors? How there is a complex interplay of many factors, political factors, it means a political indifference, you can say political indifference, bureaucratic inertia, or for that matter, judiciary too has not taken the matter to the extent it's required. Once in a while, fine, they have expressed the concern over the problems and challenges associated with the police administration. So, but it has not gone to the extent of exerting some kind of pressure on the political leadership to pursue reforms on urgent basis. One more thing that so you have political indifference and then bureaucratic inertia, then several structural problems are there. So we have seen public protest against farm laws. We have seen public protest against Citizenship Amendment Act here and there, on every issue. Then on the one hand, you have dog haters or dog lovers. So dog, that also becomes a very important subject matter. So what kind of treatment should be meted out to the street dogs becomes a big problem. National level debate and discussion, had started taking place, all of us know. But have you ever seen any kind of public upheaval or some kind of public protest for police reforms? No. You can see public protest against one other action or inaction of the police force, the corruption, inefficiency, or lack of sensitivity on the part of the police force, lack of professionalism. It happens. Public protest takes place against any incident, but we have not seen any kind of public protest or some kind of movement or revolution exerting pressure on the political leadership to bring police reforms. So there has been a kind of indifference or public apathy in this regard. So all such factors put together, you have bureaucratic inertia, then you have lack of political will or political indifference, or you can say then several other structural problems, then financial constraints. Many more things are there, but most important factor is the lack of political will. Lack of political will, because not a big thing reforms could be pursued here, but all those factors put together contribute to contribute to the development of that strong inhibitive force which has not allowed implementation of police reforms. So all those factors we are going to discuss today. So those factors, and then secondly, despite such limitations, we should not, swing to the extremes that nothing has been done by the government. It's not like that. Largely, we can say that police reforms have not taken place, but some initiatives, undoubtedly, some initiatives have been taken. Welcome initiatives have been taken by the government on the part of police reforms. That also we are going to discuss how the government has taken the initiative to make police more, citizen friendly, to bring greater amount of accountability, how the changes, how the laws IPC and CRPC, how this the government made an attempt to improve the legal system and framework within the bounds of which police functions. So therefore IPC, no doubt IPC and CRPC was replaced by last year 2024. IPC and CRPC and Indian Evidence Act was replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam. So all the developments taken place. The government has also taken initiative to open some kind of, to bring online training courses for the police officers, even for the judicial officers, so that they could learn something about the contemporary trends of crime, or how to make use of technology, the cyber crime and dynamics of cyber crime, how to respond to such situation. So government has taken such initiative, adjustments to state and union territories for modernization of police force. These programs have been launched, and governments have taken initiative to ensure that Indian police force is made more competent, professionally more competent, and more capable institutionally, to bring greater amount of institutional competence to deal with the contemporary problems and challenges. So tool, technique, technology, equipments, and then physical infrastructure or digital infrastructure, I can say, in these areas, no doubt. The government has central government has taken several initiatives, but final outcome is not so much in conjunction with what actually we expect from a modern police force in a democracy. So gap is there, huge gap is there. You can deal with non-human component very easily, but the real challenge is to deal with the human component of police administration. Are you getting a point? It means in the context of any organization consists of broadly two components only. You have non-human component, structure, method, technique, process, rules, regulation, law, all such things are there. And on the other hand, on the other subsystem, that is human component. Human component, it means the moral, motivation, decision-making ability, police leadership, their equation of relationship with society, that mindset, how they look at the things, their role perception in a democracy, that we are here not so much to control. We are here, we are not a controlling agency. We are very much like other agency providing services, a little bit different from others. So mindset to control and to regulate, and mindset and what improvement is required in the areas like we are not only controlling and regulating, we are providing services, we are facilitating many things, making police more proactive. Lot many things are there. So we are going to discuss the problems and thereafter the recent initiatives taken by the government, which has to be appreciated, and then you can easily make out that how much has been done and how much is required to be done. As I said, that broadly reforms revolve around two things: intra-institutional, intra-organizational reforms, that you bring change in structure, technique, method, process, rules, regulation, and all such things, and training, the morale, motivation, use of modern tools and technology, or for them dealing with the questions of centralization or decentralization, creating special forces, all such things are there. And then you have external side, external dimension of reforms, that how to improve police and public relationship, how to make use of human intelligence, then to develop a new equation of relationship with the political leadership, which is based on trust and confidence in each other, and which does not allow undesirable, unlawful interference in the functioning of police administration. Okay, and then police agencies working in some kind of collaborative alliance with several other organizations and institutions, because police cannot be successful while working in isolation. So internal reforms and then external, and then police has to work in a kind of network of institutions. You have central police and your central intelligence agencies. You have central intelligence agencies. You have investigative agencies. Then central police organizations, forensic sciences laboratories, number of scientific institutions. Scientific institutions are there. Then you have paramilitary forces. Then you have various staff agencies level providing necessary input, intelligence, and they also share the findings of various research on crimes and criminology. So all such things are there. Police force does not mean that you have gun-toting policemen, and policemen with lathis to control regular things. You have to work very smartly. You have to use force when required, but it has to be, that law has to be enforced with an element of dynamism, that we need to go for something. Modern policing means that you do not go only for human control. You also know how to go through, how to, resort to fact control mechanism. You control things on the basis of facts as well. So you control things traditionally, the human control. So apart from human control, we need fact-based control as well. How to make use of modern tools and technologies so as to exercise vigilance, so as to collect real-time data, the intelligence, and then frame your planning or your policies regarding things, and then you respond with decisiveness. So police reforms, it means police reforms is a multifaceted exercise which demands interplay, a very complex interplay of so many factors, and then only we can develop a police administration. We can develop our police administration, we can elevate its professional standards to the extent which is required. One more thing we should never forget, that the contemporary police agencies, police administration, is exposed to a wide range of problems and challenges. It means things have changed, things have undergone changes. Very significant. There has been drastic changes in the last 20 and 30 years. If you see the problems, crimes are of different nature. You have cyber crime, and then you have crimes, then you have many extremist forces. You have problems related to Naxalism and terrorism, internal security challenges. Internal security challenges have more than one dimensions. Today, we expect, police to contribute in the process. So when we talk about security in contemporary times, security, it is not just the physical security. It is about physical security, it is social security, cultural security, economic security. Then you have environmental security, human rights security, then lot many things, the energy security. So I don't mean to say the police is there to carry out all such things, but remember, even if you have specialized institutions and agencies to look after different aspects of security, police act as a strong centripetal force. Strong centripetal force. Wherever you find there's a defiance of law, there is a defiance of established rules and regulations, then the police is the first agency we look up to come and intervene and control the things. So this is overall scenario. And then one more thing, this is quite common in most of the cases. You talk about environment, or you talk about social security or political security, what you talk about. Today, we cannot deal with any subject matter focusing only on its dynamics within the domestic arena. No. Globalization as a process has brought everything to that level, making it very much complex. So crime has also undergone significant changes under the forces of, or under the impact of the forces of globalization. As I discussed earlier, the crime is committed at one place and the point of origin and provenance can be located somewhere outside the country. So when we talk about contemporary police, the level of competence, performance, it has to develop competence and ability to deal with that global, local nexus. These are the challenges. So we need to make an objective appreciation of this case. It's not for everything government is not responsible, but there are a number of complications there. But there is no doubt that lack of political will is something which does not need much justification. It is clearly visible. So this is one of the most important factors, and then you have other secondary factors which has created problems in implementing police reforms. Against this backdrop, we are going to appreciate the problems, challenges related to implementation of police reforms. Now have a look on it. Simple. First is political interference and lack of political will. Political interference and lack of political will. So what does that mean? Political leadership, either they are indifferent, they lack willpower to pursue police reforms. Why? Because there is a principle. Those who derive net advantage from the existing order and situation never support the case of reforms. And political leadership is the fattened beneficiary of delayed police reforms or police not undergoing any kind of reforms. So political leadership derives number of benefit, because if police administration lacks autonomy, lacks accountability, if police administration is very much, police leadership is very much malleable, you can swing them to any side. They can exert pressure on them and you can get the things done even beyond the purview of law. So it is in the interest of political leadership to keep the police in the same condition. It's not so much professional. That's why they can make use of police force as an instrument. They can make use of police as an instrument in furtherance of their narrow political interest, or to settle political scores with the opponents. Then police administration, if it is under their control, it is not so much professional, it does not enjoy so much of autonomy, then they can easily hide and they can escape the clutches of law. They can escape the clutches of law against all the things which they have done beyond the purview of law. So their wrong deeds and criminal actions, all such things can be easily, they can protect themselves against those wrongdoings. Otherwise, they would have been prosecuted in the case of professional police. So if your police is not so much professional, police is professional, not so much competent, does not enjoy so much of autonomy, then that police is an instrument which can be wielded by political leaders to protect and promote their interest, to settle political scores with others. So they would like police to look up to political leadership for all directions. They don't want a police administration which has courage of conviction or character-wise sound. Police leadership is very much committed to the cause of, they're committed to the rule of law, and they will not deviate from the path of. They don't want that kind of police. So that's why police reforms has been delayed. And one more thing, that is a mindset. It is something which has been in concurrence since long. Think about police administration. This police administration that we see today, the foundation of this police administration, this foundation was led by the British Governor Generals. They led the foundation of this police, and what was their objective? The main objective was to use police just as an instrument in furtherance of their interest, political interest, imperial colonial interest. So this was the basic idea behind, or basic intent behind, the establishment of modern police administration. So even after independence, that mindset has continued. So our political leadership since independence, successive political leadership and governments, they have carried the same mindset. It means control over police and the privilege not acknowledged under the constitution, extra constitutional privilege which they enjoy to make use of police as an instrument in furtherance of their narrow interest. This is something which is taken as a matter of right or reward by the political leadership, because we have emerged victorious in the election. So we have won the election, and this is the reward of the victory. So police administration is seen, control over police administration is seen as a reward for the political victory. This is a kind of mindset which is very much similar to the spoil system that prevailed in America in latter decades of 19th century. And Woodrow Wilson had opposed that spoil system. What was the principle? To the victor goes the spoil. It means the political party which has won the election will have the right and will have the privilege to appoint persons of his choice on important strategic positions in the political administrative system. And that had actually adversely affected American administration, spoil system, because persons were appointed to important positions not on the basis of merit and competence, but on the basis of their political loyalty. Something similar to that you can see here in the police administration. Good thing is that here you have to clear the examination and then you join the police force. But thereafter, political leadership reflect the same mindset that these police officers, no doubt they have come to the examination, but where to appoint them, where to send them, the transfer or promotion, lot many things are there. So their transfer, their promotion, and assignment of one other work, these things are to be done by the political leadership. Political leadership does not want. Political leadership would not like to shed off this power, the authority, although it is detrimental to the interest of public. That police is not so much professional. So appointment, promotion, transfer, all such things are kept under the control of political leadership. It is beneficial to political leadership, but gradually, what kind of consequence we are facing? That it is corrupting our police administration. Police officials, they exhibit loyalty to political leadership rather than the requirements of law or constitution. Why? To ensure that their interests are adequately taken care of. Some kind of political leadership instead of developing a professionally competent and efficient and effective police force known for its strength of character, they have continued with a police force which can be easily managed by them for their own interest. This is the problem. So some kind of give and take arrangement is there between political leadership and police leadership. And one more thing, you are in power. If you come to power, then you are making use of it. Then you are in opposition, then you will never. It's what I mean to say. There seem to be a kind of implicit agreement between among the political parties. Some kind of implicit agreement among political parties that we'll ask for these and that. We have not done this, we'll prosecute you. All such things keep taking place. That you have not done this, the government is morally deficient, and government is not doing anything for education, government is not doing anything for public health, infrastructure, environment, security. 50 tarah ki baatein sari you keep focusing on all such things. But opposition parties never ask for police reforms. There has to be something. It seems that there is some kind of implicit agreement that they have accepted it. That if next time, if we win the election, then again we'll come in control of police, and then we'll make use of police to settle political scores. कभी-कभी देखते हैं कैसा होता है. Opposition party कुछ leaders हैं कभी कभार आप राहुल गांधी को देख लेंगे बोलते हुए कि जब हमारी सरकार जब आएगी तब समझाएंगे। ऐसे बहुत से लीडर्स बोलते हैं। इसका मतलब क्या? मतलब ये कि वो मान के चलते हैं कि जब हमारी सरकार आ जाएगी तो फिर पुलिस तो हमारे पास है, फिर हम जैसे चाहें उसको यूज करें। तो ये पुलिस प्रोफेशनल कहाँ से हुई? ये पुलिस पॉलिटिकल विम्स और फैंसी पे काम करती है, ना कि कॉमन लीगल कोड के अंदर। कॉमन लीगल कोड के अंदर काम करेगी इफ देयर इज अ मैटर रिलेटेड टू कॉमन मैन। आम आदमी का मामला होगा तब तो चलान कटेगा, ये होगा वो होगा, ये धारा वो धारा, अंदर बाहर सब कर लेंगे, सारा कमिटमेंट रूल ऑफ लॉ वहीं दिखेगा। लेकिन पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप का कोई मामला अगर होगा तो वो जैसे बोलेंगे वैसे वो करेंगे। इस पे भी पहले कई जगह पे इसको क्वेश्चन, इस पे हमारे प्रीवियस लेक्चर्स में हमने इस पे फोकस किया है कि पुलिस लीडरशिप जैसी कोई चीज दिखती नहीं है। व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ पुलिस लीडरशिप? जब आप देखते हैं कि ऊपर टॉप पुलिस लीडरशिप है, वो स्ट्रिक्टली जो पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप चाहेगी वैसे ही करेंगे। वो ऐसा लगता है स्पाइनलेस है, ठीक है। और इस ढंग का अरेंजमेंट, इस ढंग का जो अरेंजमेंट है, इसके लिए पुलिस लीडरशिप ही जिम्मेदार है, केवल पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप नहीं। तो इस ढंग की चीजें, तो रिफॉर्म्स कहां से होगा? सो पुलिस एज एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ पावर, स्पॉइल सिस्टम इनडायरेक्टली एक्टिव। स्पॉइल सिस्टम आप नहीं लिखेंगे, लेकिन ये समझाने के लिए कि एक तरह का स्पॉइल सिस्टम है। स्पॉइल सिस्टम ये है, ये बर्बाद कर रहा है। दो लोगों के बीच अरेंजमेंट है, पब्लिक का नुकसान है। आर्बिट्रेरी ट्रांसफर एंड पोस्टिंग। आज क्या है, पुलिस जो प्रोफेशनल नहीं है, पुलिस को कंट्रोल करने के लिए कोई पुलिस कमीशन, एक मल्टी मेंबर बॉडी होनी चाहिए जो अपॉइंटमेंट, प्रमोशन, ट्रांसफर, इन सारी चीजों को देख सके, सो दैट पुलिस फोर्स इज इंसुलेटेड अगेंस्ट पॉलिटिकल इंटरफियरेंस। बट एज अ पार्ट ऑफ पुलिस रिफॉर्म, these things are not being allowed, these things are not being encouraged, so that political leaders, they have control and command over appointment, promotion, transfer, ठीक है। दिस इज नोन एज रिवॉर्ड पावर। एक और प्रिंसिपल है लीडरशिप का। लीडरशिप इनविजिबली इन्वॉल्व सम काइंड ऑफ साइकोलॉजिकल इकोनॉमिक एक्सचेंज। यू हैव लीडर्स, यू हैव फॉलोअर्स। आपकी लीडरशिप को कोई एक्सेप्ट तभी करता है जब उसको कोई फायदा हो रहा हो। आप फायदा देने की स्थिति में अगर नहीं है तो आपकी लीडरशिप को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा। तो पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप और पुलिस लीडरशिप दोनों के बीच एक तरह से सांठगांठ है। पुलिस लीडरशिप जो है वो कई तरह के फायदे पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप को पहुंचाती है, और पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप कई तरह के फायदे पुलिस लीडरशिप को देती है। कि चलो भाई, जो हमारे साथ काम कर रहे हैं मिलजुल के, जो बोले वैसा कर दिया, ठीक है, तो आपके हिसाब से हो जाएगा, देख लेंगे, सही जगह पोस्टिंग मिल जाएगी, प्रमोशन हो जाएगा। बहुत सारे टैलेंटेड लोग जो उनका करियर बर्बाद कर दिया होगा, कई सारे पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स नहीं, कोई कहने सुनाने की बात, ये बच्चे बच्चे जानते हैं सब, ये कितना सारा कितना पॉलिटिक्स है। लेकिन अगर एक पुलिस कमीशन आ जाए या स्टेट सिक्योरिटी कमीशन अगर आ जाए, जैसा कि रिकमेंडेशंस आपने देखा, तो इन सब से क्या होगा कि उनके डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर जो है पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स के, वो काफी कम हो जाएंगे। पुलिस लीडरशिप के भी डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर्स कम होंगे। उनको एक कॉमन लीगल कोड, रूल्स रेगुलेशन के अंदर काम करना पड़ेगा, उनके ऊपर विजिलेंस होगा, ऑटोनॉमी तो होगी, लेकिन साथ साथ अकाउंटेबिलिटी के क्वेश्चंस भी होंगे। तो इसलिए पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप और पुलिस लीडरशिप दोनों ही नहीं चाहते हैं। तो पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स कैसे होगा? आर्बिट्री ट्रांसफर्स एंड पोस्टिंग, ये तो मजे के है। तो नेता सभी सब करते हैं, इसकी वजह से उनको फायदा मिलता है, अपने आदमी को बिठाएंगे। मतलब कि अगर पुलिस स्टेशन के लेवल पे भी ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग अगर सब हो रही है, तो बड़े बड़े नेता लगे होते हैं कि हमारे एरिया में हमारे पसंद का थानेदार होना चाहिए, हमारे पसंद का एसडीएम होना चाहिए, हमारे पसंद का डीएसपी होना चाहिए। इस तरह की चीजें अभी भी देश में चल रही हैं, ठीक है। तो आर्बिट्रेरी ट्रांसफर्स एंड पोस्टिंग्स, देन यू हैव रेजिस्टेंस टू कोड डायरेक्टिव्स। और रेजिस्टेंस एक है, कोड का डायरेक्टिव्स तो आ चुका था उसी में, प्रकाश सिंह वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया में, लेकिन देयर इज रेजिस्टेंस टू चेंज इज अ कॉमन थिंग। लेकिन रेजिस्टेंस टू पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स इज समथिंग विच हैज बीन एक्सेप्टेड नॉर्मली। नहीं होगा, कोई चर्चा ही नहीं, जैसे लगता है कोई कंसर्न ही नहीं है। नेक्स्ट इज ऑब्सोल्यूट लीगल एंड इंस्टीट्यूशनल फ्रेमवर्क। If you see the police force in India today, even our Indian police is largely governed by Indian Police Act of 1861 and Police Act of 1861. Just imagine. So law has become largely obsolete. I don't mean to say that Indian police is governed only by Indian Police Act 1861. It is governed by several other laws, and some states have made amendment to the Police Act 1861. Some changes have been made. But largely police establishment, power, authority, jurisdiction, the hierarchy, overall pattern of response that we see, such things to a great extent is affected and has been influenced by Indian Police Act 1861. And this, I say that every law has a context of time and place. So a law which was enacted, just imagine 1861 Act, a law which was enacted during British period, during British period to develop a police administration with control-centric orientation, to control, to regulate, to exercise coercion. How can that police under say how can our police administration under the same law can be a service-oriented police? So these are the limitations. That's why police reform is difficult. Because ultimately, entire police administration has to function under Police Act 1861. And Police Act 1861, in its nature, its content, its scope, is not instrumental in furtherance of the cause of justice, or for that matter, or it is not in keeping with the principles of democracy, because it was not designed for a democracy. It was designed, and under this law, police administration was designed in furtherance of colonial and imperial interest. So police reforms will always remain incomplete unless this Indian Police Act 1861 is replaced by a new legislation. Other laws are equally required to be amended. So outdated Police Act, this is inhibitive force against police reforms and lack of accountability mechanism. Okay, so you don't have adequate means and mechanism, to enforce accountability. In keeping with the recommendations made by various committees, some states have established police complaint authority. Such police complaint authority largely exists on paper, but such police complaint authority, they lack the teeth, the force, the power which is required to enforce the accountability of police officers who have committed something wrong. They lack the power to ensure effective investigation against police excesses. So you have police complaint authority, but it does not work so much. ठीक है, आप थाने में भी जाएंगे, थाने में भी एक शिकायत वाली एक पेटिका लगी रहेगी कि अगर आप पुलिस स्टेशन में आपके साथ ऐसा व्यवहार होता है, अगर कुछ गलत है तो अपनी शिकायत आप यहाँ डाल सकते हैं. कभी ट्राई किए हो? ट्राई कर देखना कौन सा शिकायत और कौन सा वो शिकायत, सब मतलब बेकार की बातें, ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. वो अंदर जो कुछ पुलिस वाले जो हैं कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि जो थानेदार जो कुछ कर रहा है उसके ऊपर लोगों को पता है वो क्या कर रहा है, किस केस में क्या करना नहीं करना है. बहुत सारी चीज़ मिस्टेक्स है. आप बड़े बड़े अधिकारी देखोगे, जो हम लोग का अनुभव है, आप किसी केस में जाओगे, आईपीएस से मिलोगे तो बड़ा अच्छा लगेगा कि अरे बहुत पढ़े लिखे समझदार हैं, बातें बड़ी अच्छी अच्छी करेंगे. लेकिन उसके बाद क्या होगा, आप मतलब ये मत सोच लो कि जो आपसे अच्छी बातें कर ली कि नहीं ये तो गलत है, तो आपके राइट्स का वायलेशन है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है, मैं देखता हूँ उसमें ये बातें अच्छी करेंगे, लेकिन उसके बाद आप देखोगे कि धोखा हुआ है. आप तो बड़े खुश होकर आगे डीजीपी से बात करके आ गए, कंप्लेन कर दिया हमने. थाने पे आओ, वहाँ संघर्ष आपका अलग है. आप कुछ नहीं जानते हैं कि क्या तय हुआ इस केस में. दोनों तरफ से बाहर से प्रेशर आ रहा है, जिसके फोन में दम होगा देख लेंगे. ऐसी कई लोगों का जो अनुभव वो सब जानते हैं. इसलिए देयर इज सो मच ऑफ पब्लिक डिस्ट्रस्ट, lack of trust and confidence in the relationship of police and public. So lack of accountability mechanism, इसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम है. रिफॉर्म्स कहाँ से होगा, ये है. We lack means and mechanism. फिर है internal resistance within police force. I have discussed this point. ठीक है, रिफॉर्म्स, you want to bring police reform, but those who are sitting at the top of the police administration, police leadership itself is not interested in reform. तो कैसे रिफॉर्म्स होगा? Those who are supposed to pursue the case of reforms, very effectively, those who are supposed to pursue the case of reforms, if they are not willing, then who will bring police reforms? So political leadership at the top and police leadership, they were supposed to work together. But in the police leadership, some senior officials, many of them, they are not willing, they are not interested in pursuing reforms, because they think that if reforms are pursued, police reforms is pursued, then in that case their accountability will be increased, means and mechanism for enforcement of accountability will be developed. Then their discretionary power will be restricted to some extent. Arbitrary exercise of power and authority, extracurricular activities will be banned. Things will put under check and vigilance. Corruption, inefficiency, all such things will be taken care of very seriously. So they know that existing state of affairs is beneficial. That's why there is a resistance to police reforms. The resistance to police reforms in the police leadership itself. They have got over a period of time, they have developed this system based on quid pro quo, give and take arrangement. They have developed a system, they have contributed immensely in development of an ecosystem which is beneficial to people in power. Okay, so that's why they would continue with the same. They don't want any kind of change in that ecosystem, which they think they had developed so painstakingly over a long period of time. If this is broken, then what will happen to their professional interest, their individual interest? They are not so much committed to the larger interest of society. They are more committed to their personal or institutional professional interest. This is one of the biggest problems. That's why you always say political interference is taking place in police administration. Political interference is taking place. Who is responsible for that? Not only political leadership. Police leadership is equally responsible if political interference takes place. That majority of you, most of you submit to the whims and fancies of political leaders. You genuflect in front of them. You are on your knees as and when required. You resort to several unlawful activities. You resort to injustice if required, without any hesitation, to keep your political masters in good humor. Why? So that you could derive some benefit. This resistance to change. This is one of the biggest cause, you can say. Because the incremental तो status quo tendency जो चल रहा है उसे चलने दो. Then lack of professionalism and resources. Lack of professionalism and resources tool, because reforms is not about power authority or BNS or BNSS. You have to work on tools, techniques, method, process, technology, and for that you need huge financial resources allocation, and that will come from the political leadership if it is committed to such cause. So these kind of problems are then the professionalism which is required to bring police reforms. So that professionalism is missing, because those who are supposed to play an important role, they are not so much convinced, and they are not so much interested. They lack that intent, they lack that kind of willpower to pursue the case of reforms. So you have lack of professionalism and resources, and then you have constitutional and administrative issues. Police being a state subject, constitutional administrative issues, because police and public order, we have discussed earlier in my previous lecture, I have discussed that these are the state subjects. So these are the state subjects, therefore any substantive law, cannot be enacted by the parliament regarding police establishment, the power and functions, and constitution of special forces to enforce accountability. Yes, the parliament or central government can take initiative, they can enact any model act, and they can provide some kind of, institutional support of one other kind. But police is mainly a state subject. Police is mainly state subject, so substantive laws can be enacted only by the state assemblies. And that's why it creates a lot of problem. That you can appoint committees can give recommendations, but to accept or not to accept such recommendations, it depends on the state government. Some states have accepted some of the recommendations, some states have not accepted it. Some states have taken seriously the State Security Council to some extent, other states are not taking so. So these kind of problems are there. Some states are taking initiative, some states are not taking initiative, and some states are pretending that they are doing something, but actually things are largely on the paper. So these are the problems. We need a unified police force, a well integrated. We can allow changes in police administration only to the extent it is required to deal with the peculiar set of challenges, problems, and conditions in a particular region. Otherwise, there is no justification for having heterogeneous kind of police administration. That's why we try to achieve highest level of uniformity, standardization of police force. But for that, you need cooperation between central government and state government. तो सेंट्रल स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के बीच में आप देखिए बहुत सारे स्टेट्स ऐसे हैं, उनका एक अलग ही फेडरलिज्म चल रहा है, वो है फ्रिक्शनल फेडरलिज्म. ठीक है, वो कोई कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म से दूर एक फ्रिक्शनल फेडरलिज्म. कुछ भी होगा हम सेंटर के अगेंस्ट मिलेंगे. आप बंगाल को देख लीजिए, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप बंगाल हैज विद द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. फ्रिक्शनल फेडरलिज्म. नीति आयोग की बैठक होगी, नहीं जाना है. मतलब आवर लीडर्स आर सो मच इमैच्योर दैट दे हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू understand that this is a matter of government. Government is an impersonal entity. You are representing the government of West Bengal. This cannot be a personal issue between the chief minister and the prime minister. But this kind of things keep happening over a period of time. It requires a lot of maturity. So India is gradually evolving. I hope that in future our leaders will understand that they are not monarchs. They are not supposed to rule the state on the basis of subjective whims and fancies. They represent the will and consensual strength of the society. So they are representing an impersonal entity known as government. So there is no room for subjective presumption, passion, prejudice, etc. So you have constitutional and administrative issues are there, underutilization of funds, and funds which are assigned, funds which are given to the state governments. Very often, state governments fail to make use of funds properly, underutilization of funds or misallocation of funds. Otherwise, this would not be the state of affairs. So police being a state subject, that also, police being a state subject, that creates sometimes a problem. And the real problem lies in that political culture and the political values, it holds a lot of significance. It holds a lot of significance. As central government, state government, if you have this kind of persons at the political leadership, they understand the gravity and significance of this issue. Law and order, police, they are always ready to work with central government. Then significant changes can be brought. But we are still, administrative issues are very often, taken up. Administrative issues are responded to from the prism of politics, narrow politics. That creates a problem. So law and order, police administration should be taken more as an administrative issue, where the central government, state governments, they should sit together, and on the basis of collective wisdom, knowledge, appreciation of, objective appreciation of the problems and challenges, they could easily make out one other kind of solution to make police force a modern, citizen-friendly police force with professional competence and required behavioral orientation. But unfortunately, it has not taken place because of political reasons. I have to oppose because I am sitting in the opposition. So, अब क्या हो सकता है इसका आप देख लो. Then is public apathy and lack of pressure. I have discussed this point. Lack of sustained public mobilization. Public protest takes place and public protest takes place on one other issues. But how many times we have seen, or have you ever seen any kind of public protest seeking reforms in police administration, changes in police administration? Public response and public protest takes place over incident. They never public protest or any kind of movement, public upheaval, such things are not taking place seeking reforms in police administration. So there's only incident-centric public protest takes place. And media also is not playing such an important role. Media is incident-centric. Something has happened and they will question the police administration. इसके लिए जिम्मेदार कौन इसकी जिम्मेदारी लेगा? जिस प्रकार से आज उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस ने ऐसा किया, जिस प्रकार से बंगाल पुलिस ने ऐसा किया, लेकिन पूरे देश में मीडिया अगर चाहे तो पुलिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स पे एक नेशन वाइड डिबेट डिस्कशन वो करवा सकती है. ये देश के अंदर जो एक इंटेलेक्चुअल डिस्कोर्स चल रहा है उसका एक अहम हिस्सा बन सकता है. और धीरे धीरे आप गवर्नमेंट पे प्रेशर बिल्डअप करेंगे तो ये चीजें उस टेबल तक नहीं है. पीआईएल किसी ने अगर फाइल किया सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अगर डायरेक्टिव इशू किया तो क्या मीडिया इसको परस्यू नहीं कर सकती थी? बाकी तो आप कुत्ते बिल्ली हर मैटर को लेकर परस्यू करते हैं. मेरे कहने का मतलब जो भी अच्छा बुरा जैसा भी है, ठीक है, आप सारे मैटर्स को आप परस्यू करते हैं. तो आप क्या पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स को कभी सीरियसली परस्यू किए? कि पूरे कंट्री वाइड, नेशन वाइड डिबेट और डिस्कशन चल रहा है, पूरा प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है, जनता, सिविल सोसाइटी, मीडिया, पब्लिक एट लार्ज सब लोग निकल करके आए, गवर्नमेंट के नहीं पुलिस रिफॉर्म्स होना चाहिए. क्यों नहीं होगा? पुलिस जो है कठपुतली बन चुकी है नेताओं के हाथ में. बस वो कभी कभार एक केस को लेकर के हंगामा होता है, मामला खत्म. सो दिस हैज ऑल्सो बीन वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट रीजंस बिहाइंड a delay in police reforms being pursued. ठीक है, ये हो गया आपका. ठीक है, so we have discussed the implementation of police reforms and problems and challenges related to implementation of police reforms. Clear? So in my next lecture, I will discuss the recent initiatives taken by the government. Towards police reforms. Although things have not been pursued to the extent we expected of the government, but it does not mean the government has not taken initiative. That too has to be taken note of. What are the initiatives taken? What are the initiatives which have been taken by the government? Then only we can ask for, a more intensified and multi-pronged, multifaceted approach on the part of the government to bring police reforms in the real sense. It has to be multi-dimensional. Reforms are to be pursued with an integral and holistic view of the subject matter, taking into consideration various dimensions of it. then only it will be fruitful. As for example, simply by bringing BNS, yes, it is a welcome initiative that new laws were enacted by the government of India, Parliament, BNS and BNSS. It's a welcome initiative. But we should remember that improvement in the legal system, amendment in the legal system or legal framework is only one aspect of various aspects of police reforms. Is one dimension of the multidimensional subject matter of police reforms. So by amending law alone, we cannot accomplish the goals and objectives which we want to we accomplish the goals and objectives that we are talking about. Okay, and again, whenever we think of police reforms should be pursued as a part of the bigger approach and exercise to improve the criminal justice system. It is not only for the heck of it, little bit of cosmetological changes. No. Reforms in police administration has to be brought keeping in mind its nexus with several other subject matters. Ultimate objective is not only police reform. Ultimate objective is to ensure that the victim, they get justice. With due efficiency and economy. Second thing, maintenance of law and order, peaceful environment and security within the bounds of which any country, society can grow. So police reforms has to be pursued, not only as police reform, but police reforms as a part of, the bigger, the criminal justice, the wider criminal justice system. Then only ultimate objectives will be accomplished. For the day. Thank you very much. Thank you.